Hi everybody, and welcome to our second semester. This is for the two credit recovery classes I have. I'm going to discuss a couple of things today: how to find your gradebook and where your grades are, how to use the dynamic scheduler, how to download Class Connect, some academic writing tips, and then a general class changes, whatever you've got to change. So first off, I want to talk about the gradebook, and I know this is not your class up here, but this is the same structure when it comes to the left-hand side. It's going to be at the bottom. You're going to click My Grades. That will bring you to your gradebook. There you'll see an end date, your average grade, your cumulative grade, and some of your assignments. It'll look about like this. Now, your end date is a column I've entered in, so maybe not all teachers will have something like this, depends on what they do. But I put this in there so that you can see when the course finishes, and you'll need that for your schedule, so be sure to write that down. If it's blank, just let me know. I'll make sure to go in and put that in. So you can see your end date right away. Then you'll see your average and your cumulative grade. Your average is based off of what you've done so far. So if you've done 2 assignments and you've got 80% on both, this will say 80%. That is basically just telling you how you're doing so far in the work you've actually done. Your cumulative grade is based off of all of the points. So this is going to be really low in the beginning, but I want you to just kind of ignore that for right now. This really won't make a difference until the end of the semester. So your cumulative grade will eventually grow to match your average. Your cumulative grade, again, is based off of what you've done versus the points in the entire course. So if you did get like 2 points here, it's 2 divided by 1,000 or however many points are in the course. So it's going to look a little low. So as the semester goes on, that will go up and up and up. So again, it's not something you need to worry about right now. That, however, is what your grade will be at the end of the course, and that is when you want to pay attention to it, is at the end. Up at the top here, you have some ways to filter as well. You can look at the work that you've had graded. You could look at any upcoming assignments, and because there's no due dates for any of the assignments, you'll see them all. And here, if you've submitted an assignment, I have yet to grade it, you can see what's been submitted. There will be a little yellow exclamation point next to those assignments. I do ask for you to give me at least 3 days to grade your assignments and then get back to you with your feedback. So that would be your My Grade section. You do want to note, again, what your end date is, and you need that for your dynamic scheduler. So for this, it's in the Start Here section on the left-hand side. So here's your My Grades. It's way up here above your units. Your dynamic schedule will bring you to this menu, and you want to click Schedule. From there, you will be brought to a dynamic course schedule. I'll give you this example live as well. So here is English 2A Credit Recovery Semester 2. You would click on Schedule, and you might go to this screen. If you do, just view schedule here, and it'll bring you to that. Either that or it'll go right to here. I don't know why some do and some don't. So that's how you get to the dynamic course scheduler. What you want to do then is change the start date to the day you started, which would be yesterday, January 3rd. And then change the end date to your current end date based off of what you found in your gradebook. Then you click Submit. From there, you're going to see an itemized list of things you need to do per day. So I'll show you that live as well. So today is technically the 4th, but you started on the 3rd. Make sure you put 2017 and say your end date is the 12th. Then you click Submit. Now you can see what you need to do for your course. And you can print this off and then cross things off as you go. This is great for pacing. Otherwise, you can fall behind if you're not following these tasks, and then it tends to be a rush at the end, which is something you don't want. No need to stress out about that now, or at all. As long as you follow this schedule, you should be just fine. So please do make sure you've got the right start date and end date based off of what your gradebook says, and then use that throughout the semester. Class Connect is where I like to hold unit overviews and discussion groups. Sometimes I have a weekly help session where I just leave the room open and people can come and go asking me questions about certain assignments. I will probably hold that again. Last semester I did that on Thursdays. I'm going to change the date for that and I'll let you know when that'll be. But to get into Class Connect, you would click this Class Connect here again on the left-hand side menu. If there is a session, you will see scheduled sessions and that'll be right there. If it is something you might have missed, it'll be in recordings. That is where everything will be that I've saved from prior sessions. If nothing happens, I have had sessions where nobody shows up because it's during break, for example, then I just delete it and it doesn't go into recordings. So once a session is going to happen 15 minutes before session, you see the symbol next to it. That means you can log in. You click that button, it'll bring you to a new screen that has this information, which is to join the room. Now, if you've already downloaded Blackboard Collaborative Launcher, you can just go right to Join Room. If you have not done that before, you need to download the launcher. This is why I recommend logging in 15 minutes beforehand. So you download the launcher, it'll bring up a new pop-up asking you if you really want to do that, and you do. Download the launcher. Once it's loaded, you run the program. Then you go back to the website and click Join Room. That'll download another file, and once that's completed, you click it. It will take maybe about 30 seconds for it to kind of bring it up and verify the program. It may ask for permission to run, and then it loads into a screen that looks like this. It's very simple, and it is the way I like to chat with my students, so make sure you do have that. In your rooms, if you wanted to, or in your class, you can go in right now, in fact, and there should be class sessions like this one that you can just go ahead and join the room and download it right from there. So you click Join Room, and this is where you download it. You could join the room, but you'd be the only one in there at the moment, but at least you would have the downloaded Blackboard Collaborative Launcher, and you could test it out to make sure it's working correctly. Now, a couple of things about writing and what I expect as your English teacher. I expect academic writing, which is formal writing. If you think about it, you speak differently to different people. You speak one way to your friends versus your boss versus your older relatives, etc., etc. That is the same way when it comes to writing. For me, this would be formal writing. One thing I require is capitalization. Proper nouns like names and places are capitalized, the first word of a sentence is capitalized, and I by itself is capitalized. This is a requirement, this is normal, should be the way you always turn in your assignments. In informal writing, it doesn't matter, but you're not turning in anything to me informally, so make sure that you have it all done properly, capitalized. I also look for complete sentences. You need a subject and a verb. I took the bus to work today. That has a complete sentence, has a subject, has a verb. Because my car is in the shop is not complete, because I'm left asking what did I do because my car was in the shop. And you need that extra part of the sentence. Now you could combine these two. I took the bus to work today because my car is in the shop, and that would make a complete sentence. When you are answering questions, I want you to use part of the question in your answer. So this is an example. Why did Anne Frank and her family hide in the annex? You would use part of that question. Anne Frank and her family hid in the annex because. So again, you're using part of the question in your answer. It may seem tedious. And if you wrote, they hid because their sister had to go to a work camp, the question gives you who they are, but I still want you to rewrite it. Because that gives you a focus, and it makes your question or your answer very clear. When it comes to abbreviations, I want things spelled out. If it is something like the National Basketball Association, you spell it out once and put in parentheses the abbreviation, and then you can use the abbreviation from then on. But when it comes to some things like state names, you always spell out state names. I've seen this many times, which is why I'm emphasizing that one. So you want to spell out the word Michigan. Don't put MI. That's fine for informal writing, but not something you want to turn in for an assignment. And as you may have guessed, slang and informal words are informal writing, not academic writing. Things like well or so to begin a sentence don't need to be there in academic writing. If you take it off, it makes sense still. So well the other day can just be the other day. You don't need the word well in front of it. I would like you to avoid saying you know what I mean, because if you have to say that, you probably feel like you've explained it enough, so you don't need to say that. It's unnecessary. So I don't want that in there. If you feel like you need to add more information, then you add more information. I'd like you to avoid the word anyways, because it's not a word. In text and messaging, when you're talking to me through Google Hangouts or on the phone, that's fine. But when you are turning in a formal assignment, it's formal writing. There are, of course, exceptions to this rule. Writing stories and poetry would be that exception. That can be more informal depending on the audience and the assignment. So for example, if you're writing a short story, the way somebody speaks can definitely be informal. We don't speak formally all the time, depending on who you're talking to, again. So as your teacher, as your English teacher specifically, I am grading on how well you communicate to me, and you do have to follow certain grammar rules with that in mind. I always want you to reread your work before sending it in. Academic writing is formal writing, so you want to be clear, use correct spelling, correct capitalization, and always use complete sentences. Leave out slang or other informal writing. If you're not sure of that, what it would be considered, either leave it off and find another way to say that, or send me an email. Now the last little bit is just I want you to look over your schedule, make sure everything is right. If there's something that isn't right, let me know. I can send along a form that will have your counselor or advisor getting in touch with you to work out whatever details need to be worked out. You have about 10 days to do that if you're semester paced and 3 days to do that if you're block paced. And the last thing I want to leave you with is how to contact me. It's just under staff information. You'll see my email address right there. That is also the one you use if you want to chat with me on Google Hangouts. So I wish for you guys all to have a great semester, and please let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to working with you. Bye!